Smart 24, driving business.
We'll be back from the break. It's still Monday, and of course, it's still 7 with 23 minutes to the top of the hour. This is Boxing Day special of Smart Means Business, and I'm Jerry Paul Sanka. Well, of course, it is the time when we remind you that Zabo is a platform by Altex East Africa, which is giving you the chances to invest in bonds and securities. Well, of course, pretty much the time when you get to realize that, well, today is a public holiday, and most of this particular time is when the markets are open. But just to give you more about what happens on the Zabo platform is use the USSD code *292#, and it's going to be very possible for you to quick start your investment journey. And of course, with Zabo platform by Altex East Africa, it does not get easier than that. Markets open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. So that means the entire day you can invest in bonds and securities. These markets are only closed during days like this, the public holidays, and of course on weekends. But of course, Zabo says my money, my future, and Altex East Africa reminds you to do something new always. So the only new thing that you can do today is kickstart your investment journey. Well, what you need to know is during a time like this, you can open up an account with Zabo with your name, and then tomorrow you'll be already an investor or one who is already to go with the world of investment. Now, it's time for us to head to Karibu, East Africa, as a new report from the 2022 Global Innovation Index has ranked Rwanda as the world's most innovative low-income economy. Wow, that's a huge one. According to the latest Global Innovation Index, the East African nation ranks first of its income group before Madagascar and Ethiopia, and sits on the 9th spot of the Sub-Saharan African group. The 2022 Global Innovation Index, or GI2, tracks innovation trends worldwide. It assesses the innovation performance of around 132 economies, while highlighting the innovation strength and weakness. Mauritius, South Africa, and Morocco the best ranked African nations, respectively, 45th, 61st, and 67th, while Mauritania, Burundi, and Guinea are the least innovative African economies. The report commends Rwanda's policies for doing business and its scientific and technical articles, which it lists among the nation's strength. Now, on the other hand, of the 26 outperformers on innovation, 8 are from Sub-Saharan Africa, with Kenya, Rwanda, and Mozambique still in the lead. Switzerland, the United States, and Sweden lead the Global Innovation Index. And according to the latest Global Innovation Index, the East African nation of Rwanda ranks first of its income growth before Madagascar and Ethiopia, and sits on 9th spot of the Sub-Saharan African group. So Rwanda is the world's most innovative low-income economy, according to the 2022 Global Innovation Index report, which was released by the index in here. Now, Mauritius, South Africa, then there's Morocco, among the best ranked African nations, respectively, and those are ranking 45th, 61st, and 67th, while Mauritania, Burundi, and Guinea are the least innovative African economies. So when you look at the fact that Rwanda is outperforming, and clearly that shows you how the government in Rwanda is steadily pushing for innovation, and that is not only in Kigali, but they're making sure they're pushing innovation through schools that will enable the young children, those who are still going through primary school, high school, to at least get ready for the skilling up just before they even reach the tertiary institutions. So that means that is where the world of innovation comes in. Innovation is when you give these young children the freedom and, of course, the confidence to at least engage in the day-to-day activities of the world. So that is something that is a big one for the Rwandese, and of course the Rwandan economy that is looking at growing steadily as well. So innovation in regards to that is where Rwanda is stepping and ranking number one in a group of the world's low income economies. So it's the most innovative from that group of the economies. And besides that, now let's head to Tanzania, as there is a potential of the multi-billion-dollar horticulture industry. Now, the government in Tanzania is apparently making reforms to make it even more valuable and to increase the production volumes. Now, the global market for horticulture products has expanded significantly in the past 2 decades, increasing demand for agriculture products to satisfy the growing global population. And according to global market estimates, the sector is projected to grow from $20.77 billion in 2021 to $40.24 billion by 2026. As global demand for agriculture produce increases, Tanzania is also unleashing the hidden potential of the multi-billion-dollar horticulture industry by making reforms that will eventually increase production volumes. The country is slowly but surely becoming one of the major horticulture producers with an annual income of $779 million. Tanzania's endeavor is to increase horticulture export value to $2 billion by 2030 through the ongoing business reforms to create more jobs, increase productivity, and eventually commercialize the entire horticulture value chain. Now, statistics from the Ministry of Agriculture show that the vibrant industry has been growing steadily at an 11% rate annually, offering a glimpse of hope to the fast-growing sector with a growth rate of only 4% per annum. But to achieve the 2030 goal, the government of Tanzania, along with key stakeholders, including the International Finance Corporation, is steadily taking on initiatives to spur the agribusiness economy. A member of the World Bank Group, IFC is the largest global development institution focused on the private sector in developing countries, including Tanzania. It does offer investment, advisory, and asset management services to encourage private sector development in less developed countries. And of course, the agriculture industry in Tanzania being a very, very profitable one, and the government is exploring the potentials it has to ensure increased volumes. And when we speak of increased volumes with the Tanzania Culture Association, what they want is to increase the volumes when it comes to the level of the exports that they're actually taking out of the country. That is where their main discussion is going to be rotating around, and that is why we want to see most of these things happen, and that is what the Tanzanian government is ensuring with the horticulture business. Well, lastly, from Caribbean East Africa, we move to Kenya, as Kenya is set to boost production of rice after a spike in demand. And on average, Kenyans are consuming 720,000 metric tons of rice annually. That is against a production capacity of less than 100,000 metric tons. It is estimated that this year, Kenya will import 640,000 metric tons of rice to meet demand under the National Rice Development Strategy of 2019 to 2030. So Kenya hopes to increase the area under rice to meet at least 80% of local demand by expanding this the scheme at Mwea. The government has already allowed an additional irrigation area of 10,000 acres of trial basis outside of the gazetted area of the scheme. And according to the Global Agriculture Information Network, a bulletin of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Foreign Agriculture Service, Kenya's rice production is set to increase to 900,000 metric tons to 90,000 metric tons in 2020 to 2023 from the 80,000 metric tons in the previous period as a result of the ongoing expansion that will tap water from Fiba Dam, currently under construction and with a capacity of 15.6 million cubic meters of water when complete. Now, rice production in Mwea in Kenya's Kirinyaga County has endured for decades, banking on the waters of the Upper Tana catchment, and is a tradition. Every December, farmers are busy harvesting rice at the Mwea irrigation scheme, the source of 84% of all rice produced in Kenya. And it has been this way since 1950, when the colonial government first established the scheme using cheap Mau labor. Yet there is a problem. Now, the 30,000 acre scheme with a gazetted irrigation area of 25,000 acres, and then other irrigation schemes across the country, including the Bura, Ahero, and in Budalangi, cannot meet the Kenyan demand for rice. Then the balance has to be imported, mostly from Pakistan. On average, Kenyans are consuming 722 metric tons of rice annually. And like I say, and under the national rice development strategy, they want to continue importing. And of course, that is where the rice production is in Kenya and how far they consume rice in Kenya. And well, that is it for Karibu East Africa this morning. Let's have our eyes set onto the international scene to see more of what is making headlines from the world of business across the African continent and away from the entire continent. And well, from the international news, we started off with Nigeria, as Shell is set to pay 15 million euros in compensation to Nigerian farmers. This is for the oil spills that severely polluted 3 villages in the Niger Delta. The oil giant did reveal this on Friday. Now, a Dutch court ruled in 2021 that Shell's Nigerian subsidiary was liable for damages resulting from the spills and ordered Shell to pay compensation in the long-running lawsuit brought by 4 Nigerian farmers. The agreement, which cannot be seen as an admission of liability, settles all claims and ends all pending litigation related to the spills, according to what Shell released in a report. Supported by the Milieu Defensier, the Dutch branch of the international organization Friends of the Earth, 4 Nigerian farmers and fishermen had taken the case to the Dutch courts in 2008. And of course, during that same time, you get to realize that most of the situation that happened was the 4 Nigerian farmers and fishermen had taken the case to Dutch courts in 2008, demanding that Shell, whose headquarters were then in The Hague, pay for the cleanup work and pay them with compensation. So that is what they apparently wanted to experience in the long run. Well, but besides the same situation, you as well get to realize that besides that is that the argument, which cannot be seen as an admission of liability, settles all claims and ends of litigation. But the multinational has always attributed the pollution to sabotage and has assured them that it has cleaned up the site. Now, the 4 original plaintiffs have all died since the start of the legal battle, which was pursued by their communities in southeast Nigeria, one of the Africa's largest oil producers. Now, the lawsuit and compensation mean that a new standard has been set. That is according to Donald Pauls, director of Friends of the Earth in Netherlands. And of course, away from Nigeria and those matters to do with Shell, we turn our eyes to Meta. As this time around, Meta has settled the Cambridge Analytica scandal case for $725 million US. So the Facebook owner Meta has agreed to pay $725 million. That's approximately 600 million pounds to settle the legal action over a data breach linked to political consultancy Cambridge Analytica. So the long-running dispute accused the social media giant of allowing third parties, including the British firm, to access Facebook users' personal data. So the proposed sum is the largest in a US data privacy class action, lawyers say. Meta, which did not admit wrongdoing, said it had revamped its approach to privacy over the past 3 years, and in a statement, the company said it was settling and in the best of interest of the community and the shareholders. The complaint was filed on behalf of a large proposed class of Facebook users whose personal data on the social network was released to third parties without their consent. Now, the class size is in the range of 250 to 280 million people, according to the ruling document, representing all Facebook users in the US during the class period, which runs from 24th May 2007 to 22nd December 2022. It is not clear how the plaintiffs would claim their share of the settlement. A further hearing on the settlement is due to take place on 2nd March 2023. And lastly, from the SMB International News, we turn our eyes to Nigeria's celebration of Christmas. Well, the soaring living costs have made it really worse for the families in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, where more than half of the population of 200 million lives and is living on less than $2 a day, as every little price increase puts a significant strain on household income. Now, at least 133 million people They suffer from multidimensional poverty, according to the National Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria, which says citizens spend about half of their income on food and another 20% on transportation. Now, the strain has become even more evident during the holiday season as families cut their expenses, including traditional travel, to spend time with extended families. Now, as many Nigerian families face a surge in the price of rice, the main ingredient for making the favorite Christmas meal in Africa's most populous country, the festive season seems to have lost its cheer. Unprecedented flooding this year, which washed away 500,000 hectares of farmland in parts of Nigeria, has seen the average cost of making a pot of jollof rice rise by 23.8% compared with the year earlier, according to Lagos Best Risk Advisory SBM Intelligence, which publishes the Jollof Index. Now, compounded by a previous ban on rice imports and dollar scarcity, a bag of rice now sells for 55,000 naira. That is nearly double the country's minimum wage. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine in its 10th month, the effect of the war is squeezing Nigeria harder as scarcity of energy resources and commodities, as well as a worsening foreign exchange shortage, have caused food budgets to more than double. Now, a loaf of bread, which is sold at 650 naira 10 months ago, now goes for 1,000 naira, while the price of eggs per crate has gone up from 2,200 naira to 3,000 naira. Surging transport costs from a near year-long fuel shortage also mean many people will not be going home for the festivities and have not been going home for the festivities. So the average intra-city and intercity transport fares are already up by 45% or more, according to the National Statistics Agency. At the same time, a 5-kilogram refill of cooking gas used by most middle-income homes is already up by 37% in the same period. Now, while prices of food, energy, and transport peaked during the holiday season because of a rise in seasonal demand, higher inflation could see a fall in the growth of the Nigerian economy in the fourth quarter. So that is full Christmas in Nigeria. The living cost strained Christmas joy for most of the families, but of course, as you know, everyone still remains active with being hopeful about the future of what Nigeria has to offer. This is Smart Mates Business. You can follow us on our social media platforms. Twitter is Smart24 TV, Facebook is Smart24 TV Official, Instagram is Smart24_TV. Just to quickly keep up to speed with the business information as it's supposed to be. And of course, it's very fundamental for you as an individual to at least understand how the scope of business does move as well. But also to quickly remind you, a platform where you can quickly invest in your money is Zabo. Dial *292#, that is the USSD code for you to kickstart your investment journey. Follow the prompt and open up an account with Zabo. Zabo says my money, my future, and it's powered by Altex East Africa, which says do something new. So, well, kickstart your investment journey, get your name and register an account with Zabo. Zabo makes it very, very simple for you. And of course, once you're done with the investment journey, it will be the best thing for you to at least establish the best of what you want to achieve. Zabo says my money, my future. So let your money shape up your future and be ready to conquer the business world. Do remember that the markets are closed on weekends and public holidays. And of course, the opening time is 8:15 a.m. and closing time is 3:15 p.m. Zabo, my money, my future. Well, Smart Means Business does take a rest. When we do return after the break, I've got more with the business tips, the business courts. We have sports business coming up, entertainment business, and more business updates this morning.